Tango dancers moving passionately through cobblestone streets, the thunderous roar of Iguazu Falls cascading into misty clouds, massive glaciers carving into turquoise lakes, gauchos riding across endless pampas beneath a setting sun. Argentina is not just a country, it is an experience that overwhelms the senses. Welcome to our ultimate guide to Argentina, where we will take you on a journey spanning 14 unforgettable days across the world's 8th largest country, a nation stretching over 2,700 miles from the subtropical jungles of the north to the sub-Antarctic wilderness of Tierra del Fuego. What if I told you that in just 2 weeks, you could stand before the world's most impressive waterfall system, trek across ancient glaciers, sample wines from vineyards nestled at the foot of the Andes, dance the night away in one of Latin America's most vibrant cities, and even journey to the end of the world? This is not just possible, it is the perfect Argentina itinerary. What makes this itinerary special? Unlike most visitors who focus only on Buenos Aires and perhaps one other region, we will traverse the country's remarkable diversity, from sophisticated urban centers to thundering waterfalls, from world-class wine regions to ancient glaciers, all while maintaining a pace that actually lets you enjoy each destination rather than just checking it off your list. So grab your mate tea and buckle up. We are about to embark on the ultimate 14-day journey through Argentina's 15 most breathtaking destinations, complete with insider tips on transportation, accommodations, and experiences you simply cannot miss. Are you ready to discover the Argentina most travelers never see? Let us begin. Our 14-day Argentine odyssey begins where most international travelers first touch down. Buenos Aires, the pulsating heart of the nation. Known as the Paris of South America, this metropolis of 15 million people blends European elegance with Latin passion in a way no other city can match. After checking into your accommodation, preferably in the central neighborhoods of Palermo, Recoleta, or San Telmo, it is time to discover the historical heart of Argentina. Morning breaks over the city of Buenos Aires. Our first stop is Plaza de Mayo, the political and historical epicenter of Argentina. Here stands the iconic Casa Rosada, the Pink House, where presidents have governed since the 1800s, and where Eva Perón famously addressed adoring crowds. The distinctive pink color has various origin stories, the most compelling being that it came from mixing white paint with ox blood in the 19th century, a literal blend of opposing political factions. As you stand in this square, you are witnessing nearly 500 years of history, from Spanish colonial rule through independence, dictatorships, and the return to democracy. Look for the mothers of Plaza de Mayo, who still march weekly wearing white headscarves, demanding justice for their children who disappeared during the military dictatorship of 1976 to 1983. A short walk takes us to the Metropolitan Cathedral, where Pope Francis served as Archbishop before his papal appointment. Its neoclassical facade hides a magnificent interior and the mausoleum of General José de San Martín, Argentina's liberator. The afternoon of day one is perfect for exploring San Telmo, Buenos Aires' oldest neighborhood. Cobblestone streets wind past antique shops, colonial buildings, and street tango performances. If you happen to be here on Sunday, the market in Plaza Dorrego is unmissable, where hundreds of vendors sell everything from mate gourds to vintage jewelry. As evening approaches, we venture to La Boca, the colorful working-class district where tango was born. The famous Caminito Street Museum dazzles with its brightly painted conventillos, tenement houses, originally painted with leftover paint from the shipyard. While parts of La Boca can be touristy, the authentic passion of this neighborhood is undeniable, from street artists painting scenes of port life to the devoted fans of Boca Juniors Football Club, whose stadium, La Bombonera, trembles with energy on match days. For dinner, we experience our first Argentine asado at a traditional parrilla. The ritual of Argentine beef cooked over open flames is more than a meal. It is a cultural institution. Be prepared for generous portions of perfectly grilled cuts, accompanied by chimichurri sauce and a robust Malbec wine. On day 2, we explore the more cosmopolitan side of Buenos Aires, beginning in the elegant neighborhood of Recoleta. The Recoleta Cemetery is much more than a final resting place. It is an extraordinary city of ornate mausoleums and sculptures, where Argentina's elite lie in eternal repose. The most visited tomb belongs to Eva Perón, whose grave is always adorned with fresh flowers from admirers decades after her death. Nearby, the Museo Nacional de Bellas Artes houses the finest collection of Argentine art, alongside works by European masters like Van Gogh, Monet, and Picasso. The museum provides context for understanding Argentina's complex cultural identity, a blend of indigenous heritage and European influences. After an elegant lunch in Recoleta, we head to Palermo, Buenos Aires' largest and hippest neighborhood. Palermo Soho entices with boutique shops, innovative restaurants, and street art that rivals any urban center globally. Palermo Hollywood, named for its concentration of TV studios, offers some of the city's best restaurants and nightlife. The urban oasis of Bosques de Palermo provides a welcome respite from city energy. The Japanese gardens, meticulously maintained by Buenos Aires' Japanese community, offer tranquil reflection, while the rose garden blooms with over 18,000 roses. As late afternoon approaches, we visit Puerto Madero, the city's newest district. Once a declining port area, it is now a symbol of modern Buenos Aires, with gleaming skyscrapers, upscale restaurants, and the iconic Puente de la Mujer, Woman's Bridge, designed by Spanish architect Santiago Calatrava. The ecological reserve along the Rio de la Plata provides surprising wildlife viewing just steps from downtown. No visit to Buenos Aires would be complete without experiencing authentic tango. Tonight we will attend a milonga, a traditional tango gathering where porteños, Buenos Aires residents, dance until the early morning hours. Whether you choose an elegant show at Café de los Angelitos or a more authentic neighborhood milonga, the passionate embrace of tango captures Argentina's soul. Nostalgic, dramatic, and intensely beautiful. For our final day in Buenos Aires, we dedicate the morning to any missed attractions and perhaps some shopping for leather goods, a specialty of Argentina. In the afternoon, consider adding an optional side trip to Tigre Delta, a unique network of islands and waterways just 45 minutes from the city. Here you can take boat tours through narrow canals lined with everything from humble weekend cottages to luxurious mansions, all accessible only by water. As we conclude our time in Buenos Aires, we have barely scratched the surface of this complex city, but Argentina's diverse landscapes beckon. Tomorrow, we will exchange urban sophistication for one of the world's most spectacular natural wonders as we fly north to Iguazu Falls. Day 4 begins with a morning flight to Puerto Iguazu in Argentina's northeastern corner, where the country meets Brazil and Paraguay at the triple frontier. The climate change is immediately apparent, from Buenos Aires' moderate temperatures to Iguazu's humid heat. The vegetation transforms just as dramatically, to dense, verdant Atlantic forest teeming with life. After checking into our hotel, perhaps one of the properties located within or near the national park, we waste no time heading to Iguazu National Park to begin exploring one of the world's most spectacular natural wonders. Iguazu Falls consists of a system of 275 waterfalls spanning nearly 2 miles along the Argentina-Brazil border. The falls result from the Iguazu River suddenly dropping over a basalt plateau, creating cascades ranging from 200 to 269 feet high. The indigenous Guarani name Iguazu appropriately, meaning big water. Argentina claims approximately 80% of the falls, and its side of the park offers intimate, immersive experiences with the cascades. A sophisticated system of walkways allows visitors to explore above, beside, and even under various sections of the falls. Our exploration begins on the lower circuit, a 1-mile trail that winds along the base of the falls. Here we experience the raw power of the cascades from below as mist rises around us and rainbows form in the spray. The humid microclimate created by the falls supports lush vegetation, including orchids, bromeliads, and giant ferns. Wildlife sightings begin almost immediately. Coatis, raccoon-like mammals with long, ringed tails, approach visitors hoping for handouts, though feeding them is strictly prohibited and dangerous. Plush-crested jays flash brilliant blue among green foliage, while countless butterflies, including the spectacular blue morpho, with wings spanning up to 8 inches, flutter around us. Next, we ascend to the upper circuit, providing panoramic perspectives of the falls from above. This walkway lets us peer over the edge of numerous cascades as water plunges into misty depths below. The vantage points offer excellent photography opportunities, especially as late afternoon light creates dramatic shadows across the water. The highlight of any visit to Iguazu comes at the end of the day, the approach to Devil's Throat, Garganta del Diablo. A train takes visitors to the starting point of a metal walkway that stretches 3,600 feet across the calm upper Iguazu River. The tranquil water belies what is ahead as we walk above the river toward distant mist rising from the unseen abyss. The walkway ends at a platform overlooking Devil's Throat, a U-shaped chasm where half the river's volume crashes 269 feet down, with such force that the rising mist often obscures the bottom. The thunderous roar makes conversation impossible as we stand mesmerized by what Eleanor Roosevelt reportedly exclaimed upon seeing "Poor Niagara." As the park closes for the evening, we return to our accommodation to clean up before dinner at one of Puerto Iguazu's restaurants specializing in regional cuisine. Perhaps sampling surabi, river fish, or river prawn dishes that showcase local ingredients with influences from Argentine, Paraguayan, and Brazilian cooking traditions. We enter Iguazu National Park. The Brazilian side features a single main trail about 1 mile long that follows the canyon's edge, offering increasingly spectacular views of the falls primarily on the Argentine side. On day 5, we cross the border into Brazil to experience Iguazu Falls, Brazilian spelling, from a completely different perspective. While Argentina offers immersive proximity to the falls, Brazil provides the panoramic vistas that reveal the full scale of this natural wonder. What makes the Brazilian perspective so valuable is the comprehensive view impossible to achieve from Argentina. From several panoramic platforms, we can appreciate the full horseshoe of cascades, stretching nearly 2 miles across. This perspective reveals why Iguazu is considered the world's most impressive waterfall system, wider than Victoria Falls and higher than Niagara. The trail culminates at a walkway, extending into the river directly across from Devil's Throat. Here, visitors are guaranteed a soaking from the powerful mist, a refreshing experience in the tropical heat. But remember to protect cameras and electronics. For those seeking an even more dramatic perspective, helicopter tours operate from the Brazilian side, offering breathtaking aerial views, revealing how the falls exist as a gigantic crack in the otherwise flat landscape, a geological marvel visible only from above. Inside the aviaries, we experience close encounters with toucans, macaws, flamingos, and countless other species as they fly freely around us. The park focuses on rehabilitation of trafficked and injured birds, while educating visitors about conservation challenges facing the Atlantic forest, one of the world's most endangered ecosystems with just 7% of its original extent remaining. In the late afternoon, we return to Puerto Iguazu for a final evening, before tomorrow's journey to Argentina's renowned wine country. The contrast between the subtropical wilderness of Iguazu and the arid Andean landscapes of Mendoza could not be more dramatic. Day 6 takes us to Argentina's premier wine region as we fly west to Mendoza, nestled at the foothills of the Andes. Dawn breaks as our plane descends, revealing an extraordinary landscape below. The arid plains stretching eastward from the city give way to a green oasis of vineyards, all set against the dramatic backdrop of the Andes Mountains. The highest peaks in the Americas, Mount Aconcagua, reaching nearly 23,000 feet, looms in the distance like a slumbering giant. Mendoza exists as a miracle of human ingenuity, a flourishing wine region in what would otherwise be desert. The ingenious irrigation system, first developed by indigenous peoples and expanded by Spanish colonizers, channels Andean snowmelt through a network of canals called acequias that line city streets and nurture the region's famous vineyards. After checking into our accommodation, perhaps a boutique hotel in the city or a wine lodge among the vineyards, we begin our exploration of Argentina's premier wine region, responsible for nearly 70% of the country's wine production. While Mendoza produces excellent Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, and sparkling wines, it is the Malbec grape that has become Argentina's vinous ambassador to the world. Originally from France, Malbec found its true expression in Mendoza's high-altitude vineyards, producing wines of remarkable depth, velvety texture, and profound sense of place. Our first wine experience takes us to the Luján de Cuyo region, known as the Primera Zona, or first zone of Mendoza winemaking. At Bodega Catena Zapata, one of Argentina's most respected wineries, we tour their distinctive Mayan-inspired facility while learning how the Catena family revolutionized Argentine winemaking by planting vineyards at unprecedented altitudes. The tour culminates with a tasting of their high-altitude Malbecs, including their celebrated Adriana vineyard bottling from nearly 5,000 feet above sea level, where intense sunlight, cool temperatures, and poor soils stress the vines into producing grapes of extraordinary concentration and complexity. For lunch, we visit a traditional bodega offering food pairings with their wines. The Argentine concept of sobremesa, lingering at the table after eating, comes naturally as we savor local specialties like empanadas mendocinas, filled with spiced beef, olives, and hard-boiled eggs, and hearty stews that complement the robust wines. In the evening, we explore Mendoza city itself. The earthquake of 1861 destroyed much of colonial Mendoza, leading to the city's rebuilding with unusually wide avenues and 5 main squares. The central Plaza Independencia connects to 4 smaller plazas, creating a unique urban layout designed with earthquake safety in mind. For dinner, we experience the creative cuisine at one of Mendoza's modern restaurants, where innovative chefs combine traditional Argentine ingredients with contemporary techniques. The farm-to-table philosophy pairs beautifully with wines from small producers, representing the next evolution in Mendoza's wine story. On day 7, we venture to the Uco Valley, about 90 minutes south of Mendoza city. This newer wine frontier sits even higher at the Andean foothills, with vineyards planted up to 5,600 feet, among the highest in the world. The dramatic scenery of vineyards against snow-capped peaks makes every vista postcard worthy. For lunch, we indulge in a leisurely multi-course meal at one of the valley's renowned winery restaurants, where open-flame cooking highlights local ingredients, from succulent goat and lamb to organically grown vegetables. Paired thoughtfully with estate wines, these dining experiences rival those of any wine region globally, while maintaining a distinctly Argentine character. In the afternoon, we visit another standout winery with a different approach, perhaps Chaltén, with its impressive art collection housed in a facility that resembles a temple to wine, or Clos de los Siete, a collective project of several French winemaking families. Each offers a unique perspective on what makes this high-altitude terroir so special. As the sun begins to set behind the Andes, casting a golden glow across the vineyards, we return to our accommodation with time to relax before dinner. Many of the region's lodges offer evening tastings of limited production, wines not available for export, providing deeper insight into Argentina's winemaking renaissance. While Mendoza's wines rightfully claim the spotlight, the region offers much more. On day 8, we explore the magnificent Andean landscapes that shape the character of these wines. After breakfast, we head west toward the mountains on Ruta 7, the scenic highway that eventually crosses into Chile. Our destination is Portorinos, where a massive dam creates a turquoise reservoir amid arid mountains. This area offers activities from gentle lakeside walks to more adventurous rafting on the Mendoza River, depending on your preference. Continuing west, the dramatic shift in landscapes tells the geological story of the region. From the fertile valleys around Mendoza to progressively drier and more rugged terrain as we ascend, the engineering marvel of the Potrerillos Dam creates a stunning turquoise reservoir amid arid mountains. For those seeking a more immersive experience, guided excursions can take you closer to Aconcagua, with views of the mountain from scenic lookouts that do not require technical climbing skills. The stark beauty of the high Andean landscape with its unique flora and fauna offers a perfect counterpoint to the cultivated vineyards. Returning to Mendoza in the late afternoon, we have time to prepare for tomorrow's journey south. We will exchange the sun-drenched vineyards of Mendoza for the wild expanses of Patagonia as we fly to El Calefate, gateway to Los Glaciares National Park. Day 9 marks a dramatic shift in our Argentine journey as we fly from Mendoza's sun-drenched vineyards to the wild expanses of Patagonia. Looking out the airplane window, you will witness the landscape transform from the fertile central region to the vast, windswept plateaus of southern Argentina. Landing in El Calefate, you will immediately notice the change in atmosphere. Crisp, cool air with the distinctive clarity of Patagonia. This frontier town, named after a native berry that legend says once eaten guarantees your return to Patagonia, serves as the gateway to Los Glaciares National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site protecting part of the southern Patagonian ice field, the world's third largest reserve of fresh water. After settling into our accommodation, ranging from comfortable hostels to luxury lodges, depending on your preference, we take the afternoon to explore the town itself. Although developed primarily for tourism, El Calefate retains a charming frontier quality with its wooden buildings, cozy cafes and shops selling Patagonian crafts. The main street, Avenida del Libertador, offers excellent shopping for outdoor gear and souvenirs, while the shores of Lago Argentino provide beautiful views and potential sightings of flamingos and other birds. For those interested in the science behind the glaciers, we will visit tomorrow. The Glaciarium, a modern ice museum on the town's outskirts, provides fascinating context. For dinner, we sample Patagonian specialties at one of the town's excellent restaurants. Perhaps lamb slow-roasted Asador style over an open fire, paired with Calefate berry desserts that local tradition says will ensure our return to this magical landscape. Day 10 is dedicated to one of Argentina's most spectacular natural wonders, the Perito Moreno Glacier. We depart early for the 50-mile journey from town to Los Glaciares National Park, following the turquoise waters of Lake Argentino, with Patagonian steppes stretching to the horizon, and if you are lucky, sightings of guanacos, wild relatives of llamas and condors. Nothing prepares you for your first glimpse of Perito Moreno. Unlike most of the world's glaciers, this 97-square-mile ice formation is one of the few that is not retreating. Standing before its 240-foot-high ice face that stretches 3 miles across Lake Argentino creates an almost primordial sense of awe. What makes Perito Moreno truly special is its accessibility. A sophisticated system of metal walkways allows visitors to contemplate the glacier from multiple angles and distances. We will spend time moving between the various balconies, listening to the symphony of the living ice, creaks, groans, and the occasional thunderous roar when sections carve into the water below. For those seeking a closer encounter, we can opt for a boat excursion that navigates carefully near the glacier's north face. From water level, the scale becomes even more impressive. towering blue ice walls, dwarfing the boat and passengers. The truly adventurous might choose an ice trekking excursion, requiring advance reservation. After crossing the lake by boat and a short hike through Patagonian forest, guides equip participants with crampons for a walk on the glacier itself. The surreal landscape of ice caves, deep blue crevasses, and natural ice sculptures offers a perspective few ever experience. As afternoon light shifts across the glacier, transforming its appearance from white to azure to almost indigo in shadowed crevasses, we witness why Patagonian light is revered by photographers worldwide. While Perito Moreno may be the most famous glacier in the park, Los Glaciares National Park protects an incredible 47 major glaciers. For those with interest, an optional boat excursion across Lake Argentino can showcase additional glaciers like Spegazzini and Uppsala, each with their own unique characteristics. Return to El Calefate for the evening, with time to rest before tomorrow's journey to Argentina's trekking capital, El Chaltén. Day 11 takes us north from El Calefate along Route 40. Argentina's legendary highway, stretching nearly the entire length of the country. The landscape seems impossibly vast, endless grassy plains punctuated by distant mesas and populated primarily by guanacos and Patagonian ostriches. After about 3 hours of travel, the road begins to climb, and suddenly, the plains give way to one of the most spectacular mountain views in the world. The Fitzroy Massif, appearing on the horizon like a crown of stone and ice. El Chaltén, founded only in 1985 as Argentina's youngest town, caters specifically to trekkers and climbers, with excellent trail access directly from town. No transportation needed. The rustic village offers basic but comfortable accommodations, equipment rental shops, and restaurants serving hearty meals designed to fuel hikers. After checking in and having lunch, we use our half-day to hike to Mirador Los Condores. This 2-mile round trip ascends gradually to a panoramic viewpoint overlooking the town, Rio de las Voltas Valley, and the entire Fitzroy Range. It is an ideal spot for photography when the peaks glow with alpenglow, a phenomenon locals call the magic hour. Throughout these trails, the Patagonian forest reveals its character. Southern beech trees, lengas and hayas, twisted by relentless winds, vibrant wild flowers in summer, and perhaps glimpses of huemul deer, one of South America's most endangered mammals. As evening approaches in El Chaltén, the small town's camaraderie becomes apparent as trekkers from around the world share stories over craft beers from the town's microbreweries or hot chocolate in cozy cafes. The atmosphere perfectly captures the spirit of Patagonia, wild, pure, and somehow both challenging and welcoming simultaneously. For those with more time and strong hiking abilities, El Chaltén offers numerous other trails, most notably the spectacular trek to Laguna de los Tres, which brings you face-to-face with Mount Fitzroy. However, as our itinerary continues tomorrow with a journey to Ushuaia, we save this challenging 8-hour hike for a future visit. Tonight we rest well in preparation for tomorrow's early flight to Ushuaia, the city at the end of the world. Day 12 begins with a return to El Calefate and a flight to Ushuaia, a journey of about 90 minutes that takes us over some of the most remote landscapes on Earth. As the plane begins its descent, the dramatic meeting of mountains and sea comes into view, the Marshall Mountains plunging directly into the Beagle Channel, creating the spectacular natural harbor that cradles Ushuaia. Welcome to the world's southernmost city, whose welcome sign proudly proclaims Ushuaia, Fin del Mundo, Principio de todo, end of the world, beginning of everything. Positioned on the shores of the Beagle Channel on Tierra del Fuego Island, Ushuaia sits just 680 miles from Antarctica, a proximity that shapes everything about this frontier outpost. After checking into our accommodation, perhaps one with panoramic views across the channel toward Chile's mountains, we begin exploring this city of 75,000 hardy residents. Ushuaia's history is as dramatic as its setting. Once inhabited solely by the indigenous Yamana people, it became a penal colony in the early 20th century before transforming into a naval base and eventually the adventure tourism hub it is today. A short walk takes us to Ushuaia's picturesque port, where expedition vessels bound for Antarctica dock alongside luxury cruise ships and fishing boats. The waterfront buzzes with activity, from tourists searching for last-minute Antarctic cruise deals to workers loading supplies for research stations on the White Continent. As the afternoon light begins to shift, we take a drive up to Marshall Glacier for panoramic views of the city and channel below. The chairlift and subsequent short hike offer increasingly spectacular vistas as you ascend, with the city appearing like a tiny outpost of civilization amid overwhelming wilderness. For dinner, we experience Patagonian lamb roasted Asador style, a whole lamb splayed on a cross-shaped spit beside an open fire for several hours. This traditional cooking method, brought by early European settlers, produces meat of incredible tenderness and flavor, typically served with chimichurri sauce and simple sides that do not compete with the star attraction. Day 13 is dedicated to exploring Tierra del Fuego National Park, Argentina's only coastal national park and the southernmost protected area on the planet. Located just 7 miles west of Ushuaia, the park protects 155 square miles of subantarctic forest, mountains, lakes, and coastline. A unique and atmospheric way to enter the park is aboard the Southern Fuegian Railway, better known as the End of the World Train. This narrow-gauge railway originally transported prisoners from Ushuaia to forest work camps. Today's tourist version travels the last 5 miles of what was once a much longer route, chugging slowly through stunning scenery, while guides explain the area's natural and human history. Inside the park, we discover a landscape shaped by glaciers, with deep valleys filled by rivers and lakes. The subantarctic forest consists primarily of southern beech species, the deciduous lenga and the evergreen guindo. These hardy trees grow slowly in the harsh climate, often taking contorted forms from relentless winds. The park offers hiking options for all abilities. For a comprehensive experience, we combine shorter trails to create a perfect day of exploration. The coastal path, Senda Costera, follows the Beagle Channel shoreline from Ensenada Bay to La Patea Bay. This relatively flat 5-mile trail offers constant views across the channel toward Chile's Navarino Island and opportunities to spot marine birds and mammals. At La Patea Bay, we reach a literal end of the road, the terminus of the Pan-American Highway that begins in Alaska, nearly 18,000 miles north. A simple sign marks this symbolic continental endpoint where travelers traditionally take photos to commemorate reaching the bottom of the Americas. For lunch, we enjoy a picnic beside Lake Roca, whose color shifts between emerald and sapphire, depending on the light. Alternatively, the park's small cafe offers hot drinks and simple meals. Welcome warmth in this cool climate, where temperatures rarely exceed 50 degrees Fahrenheit even in summer. In the afternoon, we explore the park's interior on the Pampa Alta Trail, climbing gently through forests where Magellanic woodpeckers, large, striking birds with bright red heads, tap on trees, and the elusive Andean fox might make a brief appearance. Above the tree line, we reach open meadows offering panoramic views across lakes, forests, and the distant channel. As we complete our explorations of this remarkable park, we return to Ushuaia for our final evening in the world's southernmost city. Tomorrow will bring our last adventure in this region before our return journey begins. For our final full day in Argentina, day 14, we take to the water on a Beagle Channel catamaran excursion. Named after Darwin's famous ship, the channel separates Tierra del Fuego's main island from numerous smaller islands to the south. Our boat navigates past Les Éclaireurs lighthouse, often mistakenly called the lighthouse at the end of the world. The actual one that inspired Jules Verne's novel stands on Staten Island further east. Wildlife viewing on the channel is remarkable, we pass rocky islands covered with raucous colonies of imperial cormorants and South American sea lions. Seabirds wheel overhead, while the rare Magellanic penguin might make an appearance in the water. If exceptionally lucky, we might spot southern right whales or orcas that occasionally enter the channel. The boat continues to Isla Martillo, home to a colony of Magellanic penguins and a small group of Gentoo penguins, unusual this far north, and the only place to see penguins near Ushuaia without traveling to Antarctica. Watching these charismatic birds waddle across beaches and torpedo through crystal waters provides endless entertainment. As our boat returns to port, we witness what many consider South America's most beautiful sunset. The mountains cast long shadows across the channel as the sky transforms through impossible shades of orange, pink, and purple that reflect on the glaciers above town. For our final dinner in Argentina, we celebrate with a feast of local specialties, perhaps trying spider crab, sea bass, or for the adventurous sea urchin. Paired with Argentine wines we have come to appreciate during our journey, we toast to the extraordinary diversity of experiences we have enjoyed over the past 2 weeks. Tomorrow, we will catch a flight back to Buenos Aires, where international connections await. But as the Calefate berry legend promises, once you have tasted Argentina, you are certain to return. As our 14-day journey through Argentina comes to an end, we have experienced an extraordinary range of landscapes, cultures, and adventures, from the sophisticated European-influenced streets of Buenos Aires to the thundering power of Iguazu Falls, from the sun-drenched vineyards of Mendoza to the ancient ice of Patagonian glaciers, and finally, to the end of the continent at Tierra del Fuego. In just 2 weeks, we have witnessed Argentina's remarkable diversity while maintaining a pace that allowed us to actually experience each destination rather than simply passing through. This carefully crafted itinerary balances iconic highlights with enough depth to forge a genuine connection to this captivating country. For those with more time, consider extending your stay in Patagonia to include additional hiking in El Chaltén or to visit Torres del Paine National Park just across the border in Chile. Alternatively, wine enthusiasts might explore Salta's high-altitude vineyards in the north, while history buffs could delve deeper into the Jesuit missions of Córdoba and Misiones provinces. The best news is that Argentina rewards repeat visitors. Each region offers distinct experiences that change dramatically with the seasons. Return in different months, and you will discover what feels like an entirely new country. As you plan your own Argentine adventure, remember that flexibility is key. Weather, particularly in Patagonia, can alter the best laid plans, and distances are vast. Build in buffer days when possible, and approach the journey with the same relaxed attitude Argentinians bring to their asados and sobremesa conversations. Finally, while this itinerary highlights Argentina's visual splendors, do not forget to engage with its people, whose warmth and passion give the country its true character. Accept invitations to share mate, learn a few tango steps, and participate in local traditions whenever possible. Have you visited Argentina, or are you planning a trip soon? Let us know in the comments which of these destinations most captured your imagination. Until our next adventure, as Argentinians say when raising a glass, salud, amor, dinero, y tiempo para disfrutarlos, health, love, money, and time to enjoy them. Buen viaje.